Hello, everyone. Today we have another feather in our cap, Mr. Navtesh Thakur. He scored a perfect score of 9 in listening and reading both, 7 in writing and 7.5 in speaking. Over to Navtesh Thakur for some information on how he did this and how he was able to score this perfect score. Navtesh, tell us something about yourself.
Well, as you said, I'm Navtesh Thakur and I'm 18 years old. I've just completed my senior secondary education with an aggregate of 98.5%. And for IELTS, I just chose Webberz because I felt like this was the best thing that I could have ever done, because I thought it's a brand, so I could trust them easily. So I just trusted the process, and everything that was provided to me, I just followed it. And getting a 9 in reading and listening has been something which I can call something which is really good and something that I've really wanted since a long time. So there's no secret behind scoring all this. It's just the guidance of the faculty that I was given, something that I was told to follow the rules and everything, which was just told to me, and I just followed everything.
That's
This
wonderful.
really helped me.
That's really wonderful. Okay, let's talk about each module individually. First, let's start with listening. So how was your form filling in listening? The fill in the blanks or the form filling, whatever you call it.
I think my form filling and listening was quite good. I think the answers and everything was clear, and I found it really easy to do. There were certain questions I really had to focus on the spellings of the questions because it gets tricky there. So it is not repeated most of the time. So I found it hard to focus. But one thing I kept in mind, the questions, the answers which had S, which were plural in form, I just took care of them and wrote a big S after every answer so that I don't miss out on them.
That's a good strategy. Okay, and what about maps and diagrams?
I think when we get certain time before maps and diagrams, so what I did was I used to draw a map, north, east, west side, south, if it's not given. And I just used to follow it throughout, and I just used to look at it. And sometimes what happens, we don't get the clarity of what is being said sometimes, but one can miss it just because one could not listen to that. So I just imagined what a lake would look like and would it have trees around it and all. Actually helped me, though I was on the way, but actually came to my help.
Okay, and let's talk about multiple choice questions now in listening.
Yes. I think one thing I followed for multiple choice questions was the elimination method. The option which was actually not spoken about or which was incorrect from the starting, I used to cut that or put a cross before it so that I don't get confused because of that. So eventually I found out the right answer, because in multiple choice, it is usually like they'll speak all 3 options, but the other 2 options will be slightly different from the correct answer one. So I used to cut out those so that I don't get confused.
Great, wonderful. So before we move on to reading, let me ask you some questions about you. So tell me, how does your day pass? What is your daily schedule?
I get up early in the morning. I'm a morning early bird. I just start my day with talking to my parents and discussing how have they started, because everybody in my family just gets up early. So it's been a part of my routine. I go to the gym, do some exercises, and since I'm not studying right now, so it's not something that I would say, but I'm fond of reading. I just read a lot, go through articles, not books, but I read a lot of articles, news and everything.
Right.
And then in the evening, I talk to my friends.
Okay, let's talk about reading now. So in reading, there are a lot of question types. The first question type is headings, which the people are very confused about. Let's talk something about that.
I think I also was very confused about headings because I was suggested by my teacher first that I should not read the entire paragraph. The entire passage should not be read by me all in one go, because it does not help, because the crux of the paragraph is just the same. So I would get confused with first and second and third. So I was suggested to solve the questions like filling the blanks first, so that I could get the idea of at least one paragraph. I could actually learn about just one heading, so that I could solve that. And eventually, I understood that if I could solve the true false or yes no questions and certain fill ups, I could even understand the paragraph better so that I could at least get 2, 3 headings correct. And then everything came along and I used to get those right.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Everything fits in automatically. Okay,
Yes.
let's talk about the second type that is called as true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. And people are very confused about it all the time. Did this confusion happen to you?
It did happen to me a lot. I think I was most confused about these things because I usually found it difficult between false and not given, because it was when I came into the world of IELTS, I actually understand this is not the case. Because if I would have given it beforehand without preparation, I would just have put it false and regretted my decision later on. But then I realized that false has a negation in it. It has a negation of the correct sentence. But not given is information which the writer has not conveyed at all or skipped. And that is how I did the questions.
Perfect.
And there were certain times in the paper I also felt it was a question. For an instance, I got a question. Petrarch is associated with the language. Actually, Petrarch formed a language, a form of sonnets. So that is when I put it not given, and hopefully it was correct. That is why I got 9.
That's why you got 9. Right. So let's talk about the last type of reading. That is multiple choice questions. I'm just taking up 3 types of questions because people are mostly confused with these. So how did you handle the multiple choice questions in reading?
Again, as I said, elimination method, I feel, is the best method to solve multiple choice questions.
Right.
I just started with the options which were not at all the answer. Like I used to rule them out so that I don't get confused. I know it's probability 50-50 chance if I get 2 options, but still I was one step closer to getting the correct answer. So in the end, if it boiled down to 2 options, I just chose the one which had more keywords in the passage as compared to the other one. So that is how I solved multiple choice questions.
Great. And then let's talk about your writing. Your writing score is 7, which happens to be the least. Did you goof up anywhere?
I think I had a very simple and systematic pattern of writing. I usually did not do a lot of variations. I followed a specific structure. I think I would have done better, but I think I could have used different structures of sentences. I used to do that, but sometimes I feel in the exam, one cannot experiment in the exam. One has to put their best foot forward. So if I would have experimented, I could have even gotten lesser marks. So I thought I should do what I usually do. So that is why it was a 7.
Right. So do you think you could have done better in writing?
Of course, there's always a room for improvement. So I would have done better. I would have scored the best possible marks. It's just that it sometimes depends on what kind of situation a person is subject to.
Sure.
So even if a topic came to my favor, if I had gotten a topic which I knew I could have so well explained. So it sometimes depends on the kind of situation a person is in. Plus, it also depends on the preparation that a person.
I agree with you. I agree. Let's talk about speaking now. How was your speaking exam?
Well, if I think about the exam was pretty good. I felt comfortable speaking there and I had a really great experience. And I think I spoke whatever I felt. So it was a great experience for me there. And I thought that 7.5 was a good score. I thought I would even get more because I just feel that there's always something I can do more. There's no space where a person can stop achieving. So even if I got 9 in one more module, I would have started thinking about the other one in which I didn't get scores.
Absolutely.
Humans don't stop. There's no place where a human mind can stop.
There's no end to greed.
Yes, there's no end to greed.
True that. Okay. So Navtesh, let's talk about your speaking. And how was the examiner in the speaking test?
I think I got an examiner who was very neutral. So she was not very responsive. At the same time, she was not discouraging me to speak. So she acted like a model right in front of me, and I had to speak my things. She just acted as a a person who would just receive the information as a perceiver and she would just give the marks. So I didn't feel her presence that much.
Right. So you did not have any fear on speaking.
I think, no, I don't have a fear of speaking. I think that is something that I usually do. I am an extrovert. I like talking to people. And I think I could have improved. I think my fillers might be the reason that I got less bands, or sometimes it's just the idioms. And again, the same thing, or the situation one is subject to.
Right.
Had I got an topic that I had prepared, I would have just aced it. So it's sometimes depend on the situation. It's not just the person is not able to do it, it's the environment as well.
But I think your overall score is very appreciable, and listening and reading are absolutely perfect. There should not be any scope for improvement in them. But as far as reading and listening is concerned, I think after 12th, you've done a great job, absolutely great job. And this score is also eligible to get a permanent residency. I think you know about it. For permanent residency in Canada, you require 8,777, 8 in listening and 7 the rest of them. So I think you should not be having a problem in getting a PR as well. Probably you have to give the paper again in general module, and you should be great. Okay. Yeah. With this, we finish off our interview. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you.